Oh, hello there, chick chatters and sister wives watchers and special forces watchers. In fact, Kody wasn't really a thing in
Again?
special forces at all. I mean,
I'm getting a little annoyed with that.
he's a total background character in this episode. We see him with his face kind of smushed in. That's really it. I mean, there's really nothing else. Someone does say about Kody when he's about to do a challenge, they're like, he's like the dad. He's like our dad or whatever. I don't remember who said it, but I was like, wow, I don't think his own kids think that. So
I think him and that younger Judice girl actually get along. They've been in a couple challenges together or whatever.
but I've also seen stories going around that she didn't like him. So I don't know.
Yeah,
like
I've seen those too. But I've also seen people kind of walk back their whole ideas about Kody. Like everyone jumped on the "we hate Kody" bandwagon in the beginning, and then I've seen interviews now where people are like, yeah, he was really great and helpful and blah blah blah. And I'm like, which is it? Maybe they're having the same effect that we're having. I mean, Kody truly is a couple different people, at least.
I would agree with that. I kept thinking as I was watching it though, I'm like, just imagine, I think you said this last time, Kody just being at home ready to watch this with Robyn every week. They barely feature him. And so he's got to do his own commentary. So I think that would just be excruciating watching this with Kody. He's probably like, oh yeah, that was brutal. What they're not showing you is insert a million things here. Like you couldn't even get to
like a 3-hour experience to watch it with Kody. And you know, Robyn is the only one who has to suffer through it. And the way that we've been seeing Robyn and the kids, yes. But the way that we've been seeing Robyn treat Kody this season, I am like living for it. I am becoming more and more sure of my suspicion that things are not good between Kody and Robyn. And I think Kody is even getting a little bit irritated with Robyn and his lack of affection. But we'll get there.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on that too, actually. That's kind of the only thing I got out of this episode.
I know. Although I do think we're starting to get into the meat of the season, according to the preview for next episode. And we're getting also closer to the current time. I know that has been frustrating for us viewers. Sometimes we're 2 years away from what happened, but I know they're trying to catch us up a little bit.
Yeah, we're at least in Christmas 2024. So
yes,
I'll give them that.
Yeah, so I imagine next time that they start filming, because they seem to film once every 2 months, they'll probably be at least into February.
But instead, today we get Christmas for Halloween. So.
Yes.
How fun.
So fun. This episode was very heavily Christmas focused. Obviously, the Browns are in December of last year. They're going through their Christmas traditions and building more traditions. There was a lot of jumping around this episode, so bear with us. We will be hip and hopping all around the damn country for Christmas.
Yep, like leapfrog.
Like leapfrog. So we start off in Parowan with Meri and her best friend Jen going to brunch, and they're talking not about men this time, but about a singular man named Kody Brown and how he has not done anything to change the circumstances of Coyote Pass and what's going on with that situation. I know that once Kody moved, I think Janelle and Meri were hopeful that things would move more quickly with Coyote Pass, and obviously they do move eventually here, but they're talking about the frustrations of all of that. Just had it with the back and forth. She wants to know, when are we getting the claws out?
Another thing Meri talks about is the fact that when Christine left, it wasn't even a conversation with Meri or Janelle, just probably Christine and Kody about signing over her stuff. And I kind of have to agree with that because, I mean, as much as I'm always giving Robyn crap for not working, Christine's only done little side jobs as well. She's worked harder than Robyn. I mean, she's raised all the damn kids, that's for sure. But I do think that a lot of her money was family money. I honestly think Meri, Janelle, and Kody probably have the most actual financial dollars invested into the family. Sure. So I think it was a great thing for Christine. I mean, if I was Christine, I would try to do the same thing. Like, just get me out of here as cleanly as possible. I mean, wipe my hands of this. Thank God I'm the first to leave. But I do think that in turn that did almost kind of screw Janelle and Meri because her share went totally to Robyn and Kody. And for what reason did it need to go to Robyn at all?
Because they're married. That's why it went to Robyn.
But still, just by default, just knowing it went to Robyn, I would be just as annoyed if I was Meri or Janelle.
Well, that's really the true core problem of having a wife that you're married to, is there will always be the legalities behind that too. And, you know, we covered, as soon as Kody divorced Meri and married Robyn, Robyn really did become Kody's wife, whereas Meri was never like Kody's wife. It was always a plural sister wife thing. In Christine's defense, they always did pool their money up until just like 5 years ago, she said in her book, and they were still really trying to separate their money. So I can see how that would get complicated too. It seems like all in all, and obviously they didn't know this at the time, but it seems like all in all, with everything said and done, they all walked away with just about the same amount of money, including Christine for her house when she sold it. obviously they couldn't have known that at the time. But I do think there should have been a conversation. If you're pooling all your money as a family together, then anytime you do something that large or exchange something that large, then the whole pool should be involved, even if like their names aren't on it, right? So I definitely think it should have been a conversation. My suspicion is that Kody was probably also very happy with that idea and felt no need to address that with his other wives that he was already on the rocks with. So I think it was just a good idea for both of them at the time. And they had incentive probably to not talk to anyone else about it, even though they absolutely should have.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the outcome should have been any different, really, to be honest, because I mean, Christine was pulling side jobs and raising kids, and I do think she's entitled to something when she leaves. But I do think that could have been a conversation that at least Meri and Janelle felt like was had.
They were a part of, and they were considered in. Totally, yes. Totally agreed. Meri ends up saying she doesn't want to be a biatch, and Jen teaches her the ways of biatching. I thought that it was really strange that she said that she didn't want to come across that way. I mean, they have an entire brand called Salty Birches.
Not even that. Kody already thinks she's a bitch. So what's the difference? He thinks she's the bitchiest one. He doesn't want to even give her an email back because he doesn't want to deal with her. He wants Janelle to be the middleman because Meri's nags, Meri's annoying, Meri's bitchy.
And isn't it funny because according to Janelle is the one who will look Kody in the face and say, I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. Let's get this over with. So I feel like Meri is sort of like falling into a self-fulfilling prophecy where she doesn't want to come across as a bitch. So she's all passive aggressive and weird. And then Kody just doesn't want to deal with it. Whereas at least Kody knows how to deal with Janelle because Janelle says, don't talk to me. I don't like you. So he knows where he stands.
It makes me also wonder, is Meri two different people as well? Is she something around her friends and Jen and everybody else? And then when she is talking to Kody, is she like bitchy or what? Because honestly, from what I've seen the last few years, Meri is like a dog with a tail between her legs when she's around Kody. She doesn't want to fully say things, very passive aggressive, doesn't want to fully speak her mind, but she also will kind of like hint at things. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. So I'm confused on that as well. But if somebody already has openly considered me bitchy, I wouldn't be afraid to be a bitch to them. If that's what you already think, let me self-fulfill this prophecy.
Agreed. And I wish that I could hear Meri tell Kody to comb his hair. I don't want to see Kody comb his hair. I'm scared of what that would look like, but I wish that I could see.
After seeing that Brody guy, I kind of just think he just needs a hat for a while. See what happens with that. And then get yourself some hair for it. Like I say every day.
Well, I have a couple bonus scenes this episode, and in one of them, Kody denies being a cowboy, only that he's nostalgic for cowboys.
I would agree with him because didn't he almost kill that horse last season, putting too much weight on it?
He certainly does not know what he's doing. Like he grew up on a ranch or whatever, and I still don't even really know how much of that I believe. I'm sure as a child he probably was worked like a horse by his father, but it seems like he ran away from that pretty quickly into as much creature comforts, as Janelle likes to put it, as possible. All right, well, we leave them over there. I will say, I've been hearing some mixed emotions about Jen, especially how frequently she appears. I mean, I don't know who else Meri's going to film with. I enjoy Jen. I think she is a great friend. I think she's motivating. I think she says the things she needs to say, but she's still supportive. Love her. I think she possibly needs her own show as a hot take. Maybe something like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but maybe like The Secret Lives of Parawan Wives.
I don't mind Jen at all. In fact, like you said, who is very good to film with otherwise, other than them other weird girls. So I prefer Jen over the other ones. But I wish they had more topics to go over other than Kody, Coyote Pass, and Meri's dating preferences.
Maybe that's why I feel like I want her to have a show. Like, I just want to learn more about her at this point. She's become a full-fledged character in the season. So I think that's probably why I'm feeling like I need to have a Jen show. We saw her silly little bike shop last episode and her husband, and now I want to know more. I'm done learning about Meri. It's been too long.
We've been with Meri for like 20 years at this point and still don't really know her.
So true. We pop over to the gathering between Janelle and Christine, which we'll follow for the episode. And they're having a little gathering for Christmas with their children and the grandkids, which I think are pretty much the only grandkids in the Brown family. I know Aspen's not there.
Yeah. I think she's pregnant at this time. So if y'all know when she had her baby, let us know because I really don't keep up that hard. But
I don't either with the grandbabies, yeah. Although I know when Madison had her kids, but she had a podcast, it was kind of easier to keep up with her in that moment.
She quit it after a couple episodes because she realized she was going to have to talk about this every time.
Yeah. And I really don't blame her. I probably wasn't in a place yet where she was able to be open about that without making a whole drama within her family. but I think she should have realized what she was signing up for.
TLC was probably like, you're not going to really film. You're going to just give the goods away for free. What's that about?
Right.
At least the other ones have Patreons.
We do talk a little bit before the holiday celebrations about Janelle's dating life again, which we've heard several times. I like to use the phrase that she's not advertising. I find that really funny. It sounds like she is open maybe to dating, but she doesn't want to put herself out there, and I don't know why. She's cute.
She wants to do it organically, like she said the first episode. Meet somebody at a cooking class or a sewing class. Like, you're just going to set yourself up.
Not going to these places. She said that she went to one class like one time, acting as if she was doing self-care. That is where she wants to meet men, but she's not going to these places to meet men. She's not doing anything but cooking cinnamon rolls in this kitchen time after time, day after day for all kinds of humans.
I mean, there's no reason to pressure her about it either. She's been divorced from Kody for a couple of years, sure, but she's also lost a child and she's living a whole new life. So she's got a lot on her plate right now with the farms and everything. So I guess let Janelle do things in her own time. I almost feel like the more people pressure her, the more she's going to stand firm and don't need
I can see Janelle dying alone, and not in a mean way dying alone, but just being perfectly content with not
kids.
having a person forever.
Yeah.
They did have this funny thing about, you know, Kody was such a difficult person to be married to. He had all these dietary restrictions and all these things with his clothes and his needs and whatever. And Christine lets Janelle know that most of these men are generally self-sufficient and they can take care of themselves. Now, probably when they're in their 50s, I'm sure that they can, but I've yet to come across one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just
I don't know. Mine doesn't cook much for himself, but he does clean for himself and do my laundry and stuff. So I'm happy for that. But he doesn't cook much. If he cooks, it's like hamburger helper or whatever. We're working on that. But yeah, I think it's a progress. And I don't know if Kody's got so much restrictions as he does preferences. Because reading Christine's book, it was like he always wanted steak and potatoes or something, which kind of sounds like my dad. My dad only eats like meat.
I feel like preferences, if you don't care to fulfill someone's preferences, are almost more annoying than a restriction. Like, restriction, I can appreciate. It's not really your choice. But if you're just being annoying, I won't eat this chicken because I don't like it. Stop it right now. This is what I cooked.
In her book, she talks about making sometimes 3 different meals or 2 different meals when Kody would come over because the kids would want one thing, Kody would want another. I was one of those kids. I would want to eat steak every single time that Kody comes around. It really takes the fun out of steak.
I would be like, when is dad coming over? Because I need some red meat.
Some mac and cheese or something. Before we got to this, there was a part where they talk about the Civil War cannonball. I do not know why people are believing that you would just leave a Civil War cannonball in your front yard for like years. Something like that, I think you would take in store somewhere for maybe Antiques Roadshow or something. I don't know why they thought it was a Civil War cannonball. Oh, it just came with the house and it's just been in the yard. And like, what? That's a 200-year-old antique. I think you need a better place for it than the Element.
I think that there's probably quite a bit of those, although I'm not a Civil War historian by any means or an antique historian. But I feel like there's probably a lot of those cannonballs around. They don't probably all belong in a museum, but they don't probably
many of those cannonballs around from the Civil War.
Yes.
I don't know. What are they doing in North Carolina? The Civil War didn't even happen there, really.
That doesn't. Okay, first of all, to be clear, I'm not arguing for any point here. I think they're full of metal, so they're not going to degrade. Like, all of those things are still present here on Earth today. They have to be, because they just have to be. And there were probably a lot of them. And I don't think that thing just like fell into North Carolina after it was poofed out of the cannon and stayed there until they looked at it. But I do think that people pass these things on through generations and weird little stuff. I can't even count how many things my grandpa has from wars in the military and whatever. I think sometimes families pass these things down, and I don't know why they would have thought that it belonged in the front yard. But again,
that's what I'm trying to get at. Even if all this is true, does your grandpa keep his shit in the front flower bed?
I think sometimes people start to care less about these kinds of artifacts, and they just let them be. Again, this is not a Civil War cannonball, but I do believe that Caleb was lying to everybody about it until David looked him in the face and said, "Do not lie to me. Is that a cannonball?" And he said no.
You just couldn't imagine being Janelle and just being like, "Oh yeah, it's just been here since the beginning."
It just came with the house.
Just came with the house. It was just part of it.
I couldn't either, because as you and I constantly send to each other at least once a year, we are not ride or die bitches. We have questions. Why we got to die? Where are we going? Janelle does not have questions. She just walks by and says, oh, a cannonball came with the house, and goes on with her life. I can't fathom it either, because I would have questions like David.
I'm glad that it was cleared up that it was something for a mine. I still don't understand why it's got to sit in someone's front yard.
That's kind of my point too. People are just careless, obviously, with their stuff, whether it's for a mine or a cannonball. Like, obviously, it's not supposed to be there.
I haven't even had this child yet, but I already know that if they saw that thing, they'd be throwing it at each other.
I think it's too heavy, probably. That looks really heavy.
I don't know.
Have you ever held a grenade? They're like,
I mean, well, it's a mining thing. I don't know how heavy that is.
it's made to crush up coal. It's definitely heavy.
Well, I don't know. I still think at some point one of my kids would get into it, and
definitely, yeah, they would. Like,
they'd be rolling it somewhere.
They have maybe one more year, or maybe 2 if they're lucky, that they're going to be able to keep that cannonball in the front yard without a window breaking.
My kid's kicking me right now. Like, yeah, I kicked that cannonball.
Speaking of kicking too, I think kids love to kick a ball around. Think of like little 2-year-old waddling around to kick a cannonball, bro.
There goes your toes. Yeah. Anyway,
we hop over to the hoarding situation that is Kody and Robyn's first garage, because now they have, I think, 2, possibly 3. I mean, maybe like 2 garages and a storage. There's a lot of different structures on this property.
Filled with multiples of Kody's things, which why don't you have a yard sale or something? You do not need multiples of everything anymore. Why are you holding on to everything? And how much did you spend on red totes? Totes are expensive.
I know. It's just insanity.
They're all red. They're like all red.
I'm obsessed with the show The Home Edit on Netflix, and they introduced me clear totes, which I threw away every single tote I've ever owned and bought all clear totes because of them. Seeing this in their garage, these black and red totes, it's just making me have like a little bit of a tick. So I'm gonna go.
Basically, Robyn and Kody are going through some of his stuff that he's got multiples of, but I don't know what they're actually doing. They're probably trying to find this Christmas tree. And Aurora comes up, which thank God it's not an actor this time. I don't know where she's actually been the last couple episodes where we've seen her stand in, but whatever. So she lets them know that this guy asked her to be his girlfriend. So teenage to me for a 22-year-old. I just couldn't imagine. I've usually, when I had boyfriends at 22 or my early 20s, it would just come up randomly like, oh yeah, that's what my boyfriend said, whatever. Oh, you have a boyfriend. Yeah, whatever. Right. And then if they want to meet them, it'd be like different things, but not like, oh my God, I'm so nervous to bring this boy over. It's so juvenile to me. Like, this girl had bows in her hair last season.
I know, she's ridiculously childlike. I think a lot of this has to do with the way that Robyn and Kody treat her. I mean, Kody even says some bizarre thing. Aurora came to me specifically and asked me to be the one to protect her from these things. Like, is that not just kind of the role? Like, what kind of adult woman goes to their father and asks to be protected from people that they're choosing to date? Like, she is the one dating. It's just really kind of bizarre. So I don't know. I think that this whole thing is weird. I think it's very, very strange. But I also understand Kody and Robyn raised her in this mismatch a little bit between courting and then like modern dating. And I think this is her kind of making it work.
My thing is why aren't we giving her life skills to where she can protect her damn self?
Well, her boyfriend's giving her a knife, so.
Yeah. Just seeing Kody be so weird about Aurora and Robyn's kids is just astonishing to me, because when it was his own kids, he was so excited to marry them off. Maddie brought around Caleb. Oh, I know him. I know his family. It's fine. And he was just so nonchalant about everybody else, including Tony, who came out of nowhere, and just everybody. He didn't care. And he even says as much in this episode of, I've been through divorces now, so now it matters. What does that one thing have to do with the other? What does you going through a divorce have to do with being more protective of your kids getting married? What does that matter? I'm just not getting it.
I think he's trying to say that he can see in hindsight that there were a lot of things that he did not know about his wives that he had to accept because he was married. They do honor their commitments in that way. It was very hard for them all to get divorced. And I think he is saying now in hindsight, it would have been nice if when I was that age, I could have chosen to say no to some of these things instead of been ball and chain to them for 30 years. I think that's the essence of what he's trying to say. But as a father, he should have already known, married or not, that he was in marriages that he had problems with, and he should have been helping his kids anyways.
Right. Now that he's not collecting marriages like Infinity Stones, he just now cares about who his kids marry. Makes no sense. You know, to me. Especially because it's got to be, of course, Robyn's kids that he cares about. I'm sure Gwendolyn just got married. He didn't care about that. He'd been divorced at that point. Logan got married. Well, I know it's not a girl, whatever. But still, I just don't see him caring. Watch him not care about anyone else get married, but Aurora and Brianna for some reason.
I mean, they were a little bit suspicious of Tony. I remember that being a thing.
Tony wasn't.
What?
It was Christine. It was more Christine than anything.
Yes, it was more Christine than anything.
I just can't agree with that logic of, well, now that I'm divorced, it just changes everything. It didn't change anything for anybody else but Robyn's kids. And you probably would have been this way with them regardless, because you're weird.
That's very
Because
true.
you're weird as hell. You were carrying this girl from the couch to her bedroom when she had a panic attack. She wears bows in her hair, and she had to ask you guys to go to church. There's something wrong.
But it's happening because of Robyn and Kody. Like, they're facilitating this behavior. Like, it is wrong. There's something wrong, but they want it to be that way for some odd and strange reason. I'm sure they think that it's protective. But like you said, this girl has no life skills, not a single one. And then they're just going to plop her into a marriage at some point where she's just going to be so dependent on her husband for everything, knowledge, awareness, logistic. Like, it's all bad. But it's Kody and Robyn's fault. I honestly kind of feel bad for Aurora, but it seems like she also prefers it this way. So,
well, yeah, that's all she's ever known. I feel bad for these kids. She could have needed to push her little Sobbins out of the nest and let them fly on their own. Go to a college somewhere super far away so they can learn life skills from their peers or something. Do a drug. I don't know, but I can't imagine a 22-year-old me being this weird with my parents all the time. Like,
22-year-old for advice is totally different from Aurora, though.
I know, but I get asking my parents for advice, but this is just like very juvenile to me. Like, all this protection. Oh, well, you got to treat her right. So this way, even if you don't work out, she's good for another man's wife. It's like
weird. So this is kind of the point that I'm trying to make too. Your parents didn't treat you like you were a cattle to be sold, right? They treated you like you were a human to learn new experiences in life and to try things on your own. Whereas Aurora is treated like a cattle to be sold that needs to be protected for the right buyer. That's not how your parents treated you. And thus, that is why your experiences are so different. Like, there's absolutely no way that Aurora could even have the capacity to think of what it was like to go out and have friends and find a guy who isn't in a church, maybe at a grocery store or a bar because she's 22, and like dance with him and maybe decide that they want to date. They could not even fathom that because that's not an option given to her in her world. Like, I know your parents weren't telling you go to bars and hook up, but they were telling you go have life experiences, know yourself, have fun. You're a responsible enough person. Like, those are the things they were giving you, so you were out living life, and she is out scared.
I guess to me, it's just weird how he treats her compared to his other kids that are biologically his. How he's not so protective over everyone else's future wife, whatever. It's interesting.
But we'll put them, like you say, as baby Sobbins too, and he knows that Robyn was mishandled, right?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. By their father.
Even though Janelle was into the relationship, a divorced woman, it doesn't seem like, or at least she doesn't speak on like having as much issues. And she obviously didn't have kids that came from that marriage. But Robyn likes to act as if her whole husband R-worded her for every single child that she had until they got out of the marriage. And I don't know if I believe that.
Well, I don't. But for now, we'll go over to a Merry Christmas in New York with Meri and Jen.
Yeah. This part is really brief. They kind of let us know that they're on their way to fly over, and Meri says that she has turned her dating app on for New York City and is in hopes for a Christmas miracle to happen to her. And then we pop back over to Christmas decorating. Look at Christine's hair. Do you know how to do this? How do you do this?
Yeah, she just kind of did a little twist in the back. It was cute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like a cinnamon roll.
I know. It's the cinnamon roll Christmas here at the Brown family.
They're decorating the new weird ugly tree from the land next to the cannonball, talking about their traditions and the things that they used to do all together.
Well, this is happening. Christine is kind of talking like a voiceover about how her and Janelle really decided in Flagstaff that they were more than just sister wives. They were friends, and they were going to stay this way after the divorces and everything. We've heard a lot of these kinds of stories before. So they're decorating the tree. Everybody's happy. The tree almost fell over. A little bit of chaos in Brown fashion. We move back over to this mess.
Man, it's got hurt for Robyn to see those scenes with everybody else together, still continuing traditions.
So much, especially knowing that the tradition that they air on this episode is Robyn's tradition of decorating cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did catch the bonus scenes of this episode. We got a bonus scene with this stupid conversation. Essentially, Robyn is asking some of the questions that you would expect for a parent to ask, like 15-year-old, 14-year-old when they have, their first girlfriend, boyfriend. How did they ask? He does say this in the episode, how he asked, and he's like, Aurora, will you be my girlfriend? And then Robyn goes on to say that that's kind of an old-fashioned way of doing things, which I'm sure that they appreciate because, again, they have her living in this kind of old-fashioned world, but she's also lives in 2025 and is 22 years old. So it's strange. And she lets them know that her little boyfriend is still a very chivalrous man. And he says, I'm not even going to say that chivalry isn't dead. I'm just going to do it to you. I was like, oh my God, a man. Okay.
Oh, way to get the bird out the nest.
I know, exactly. So at least he's, letting her out a little bit. But yeah, they go over, like, you guys have the same values, and Aurora lets her know that they have talked about waiting to marry. I don't think that means waiting to marry like waiting to get married. I think that means, waiting for the...
That's what they want to know. That's what they want.
Right.
That's their biggest concern, which is so strange. I think once you hit a certain age, your parents should even think about what's going on in your pants.
You know that it's like a quote-unquote sin or whatever, out of marriage to do that, but it's not going to be damned for all eternity. So
both of these people went into marriage already deflowered. So I mean,
way that I screamed at my television later on, which I'm sure we all know the moment because I'm sure we all screamed at our television at the same time. But I scrumped a scrump at Kody, just like Khloe Kardashian, going, liar. He was like, I didn't touch it. Okay.
Oh, we saw you making out behind closed doors and stuff. Can I ask? Go back to that picture, Kody and Robyn. Why is this man wearing gloves to go through just his personal belongings? Like, he's not woodworking right now. He's not cutting down a tree. Why is he the only one wearing gloves? Robyn is not wearing gloves, and her hands are much daintier. Why is a special forces contestant wearing these weird gloves?
I mean, not to be argumentative, but I'm doubtful that any of the other humans in this garage are actually moving anything around. I agree. I mean, my husband agreed. My husband went and raked leaves yesterday. No gloves. Slivers in his hands, a bunch of blisters everywhere. I must have went outside 3 times and said, with gloves, do you want to put these on your hands? No. Are you sure? Because I see you picking at something. Do you want them now? Second chance? No. But yeah, this man will just sit and use gloves for his totes to go through them.
Feels wrong. This is what's wrong in this house. Too much protection.
A lot of protection going on, definitely.
I just don't get it.
So they go back and forth about their culture and how Aurora doesn't want to live plural marriage, obviously. And she's 22 years old. We live in 2025. It upset me because Robyn keeps referring to our culture and our church. But at the same time, nobody in that family, including Robyn and Kody, subscribed to that church. I understand that's how you were raised. And those kinds of things are hard to erase. I mean, that's probably still the way that you think, even though you're not going to church every week. But it's just annoying because you're not really raising your kids that way. Aurora and Robyn's kids were probably raised the least amount in this culture of plural marriage. It's just weird. I don't like her categorizing herself as this polygamist where our culture is so important. You don't do anything about polygamous culture. You're not even a polygamist.
Failed 5 years ago at that, basically. Like, let's get out of that.
Anyways, so we move on from there. We will be back. We do get a bonus scene. Christine is making the cookies in this bonus scene for the sugar cookies that they're going to decorate later on with the kids. And she looks over at Maddie and she was like, Maddie, these cookies have to be rolled in powdered sugar before they get baked and pressed. And the internet says that it's because it keeps the cookies more moist instead of rolling them in flour that dries them out, which makes sense to me. But apparently Maddie is very much against her children having sugar, just sugar in general, not dyes or things like that. So Christine is going back and So Christine is going back and forth with her about what they should do about these cookies. And I thought this was so funny. And she said it this way. She's like, she knows what sugar can do to the body. Just like Robyn. No. This was a literal Kardashian moment on Sister Wives. It was just like the argument between Kim and Kourtney about the kids' birthday party and the candies that have to be organic and all this stuff. And Maddie is just not having it. McKelty's like, lady, it is one day. Let your kids have some damn sugar. It's freaking Christmas time. And she is completely against this whole idea. She said it's going to take days and days to get this out of their system. I'm going to get calls from Axel's school. He's going to be in trouble. And the whole while, McKelty's like, this is not red dye. We're talking about powdered sugar. They're going back and forth. Finally, they do land on just doing the flour. We took the sugar away. They said, we're not even going to eat these stupid cookies anyways. We're basically just going to decorate them and let the kids play with them. So they opted for flour and moved forward.
These are sugar cookies. There's sugar in these cookies, regardless. There's sugar cookies. They're named effing sugar cookies, for one. For two, she lets them eat dyes, but not sugar. That's worse. The dyes have worse crap in them.
No, she doesn't let them eat dyes either.
Okay, well, that's fine. And three, what a riveting storyline. Yeah, from Sister.
I was going to skip it, but then I started seeing this back and forth, and it just reminded me so much of Courtney and Kim for the kid birthday party. This is a kid's birthday party, Courtney. She's like, it's not organic. It's literally this. So we hop back over to this meeting for Brody, and everybody's like hopping all around Aurora, like, oh my God, are you nervous? What's going on? How are you feeling? Robyn is grabbing her arm and shaking it while this girl is trying to just do the dishes. Like, oh, it's going to be so fun. How are you feeling? Oh my gosh. I would punch my mom in the face.
Imagine the delight of Kody when he realizes that this man's name rhymes with his. I just figured it out just now. Kody and Brody. This is not good. And he's a cowboy. And Kody knows how to almost kill a horse. So
with his bare ass.
Him and Robyn's bare ass, yeah. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, last season, him and Robyn got on a horse together, and everyone was really concerned about the combination weight on the horse. And the horse did look like it was struggling a little, like a slow walk, a slow trot for that horse. And then things just get weird. I don't understand what Kody's fetish is about trying to get Robyn all riled up when there's another man around, like just because this guy is doing a little bit of light flirting, Kody has to be like, oh, I like that. And then gets all weird with Robyn in front of their children. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. But I also starting to agree with you about Robyn. Robyn's acting like, well, I love it, but I'm just not used to that. And I'm like, lady, you've had this man to yourself for 5 years. If you're not used to it now and you can not put on some type of little bit of PDA for this man, something's wrong. You're not really that into him. You're into his money and dolls and journals.
I don't think she is into him at all. And I think Kody is figuring this out more and more. I was so distracted by Kody licking all over that knife. And that dinner conversation that they had.
Child is too. Look at this. Look how he's training his kids to eat in front of the camera.
Anyways, I was so distracted in that conversation by the eating portion that I didn't really think a lot through his bringing up sex, and that would be the reason why he's looking for a new wife. But now it makes sense. I think that there's not a lot of affection or intimacy happening here, because I understand her being shy on camera and playing the shy and pretty wife role and everything like that. But I think even Kody is getting finished with that at this point. He is begging for affection, literally touch starved. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't been touched, but this man's level of need, at least even if he wasn't in love with his other wives, it does seem like he still had a sexual relationship, at least with Janelle, probably all the way up until it was over. And so he could at least get some of that out. I don't know how much these two are agreeing on the frequency of how much they want to be touching each other and interacting with each other and doing more than that, because Kody obviously needs so much more than what he's getting. And maybe that's why he's going to be open in this next episode, possibly in the moment. I know not in the big picture, to considering having another wife. I wish he would just bring it up with her and be like, listen, you are just not cutting it, lady. I would love to see Robyn's response to that.
Yeah, I'm sick of everyone telling me that she's a shy wife, because she was always the first one to speak up in confessionals about how polygamy is supposed to be ran. She was never shy. She always got her way. She even got Christmas back for these people. There isn't a shy bone in this woman's body. She blames the other wives for her not being affectionate with Kody, which she's always been behind closed doors. You know, like remember when they opened the door and they seen them making out. So there's no reason to call this woman shy. One, but two,
I think she's reserved. Shy is different from reserved.
Sure, but at this point, they've been gone for years. I think it's okay to flirt a little.
See, and that's why I don't think it's her problem, because I completely agree. I think her problem is not that she has her brain wired a certain way or whatever. Right. I don't think she likes this guy anymore. Yeah, it's like he gives her the ick. But another thing about her, or the situation, that I think is all of a sudden Kody seems to be overly affectionate with her. I can't help but connect the dots of like now Christine's weirdly overly affectionate with David on camera. And once that season happened, now Kody is doing it. Is this a competition in a sense? I'm starting to wonder if this is some kind of affection competition, because here's Christine over here getting all the affection she's been craving for years.
in that one season. And even last season, he wasn't this weird with Robyn. And now all of a sudden, Kody's trying to prove us the point. And it's not working because Robyn's not trying to prove that point. She's like, oh no, man, I'm just here for the dolls.
Right. And that's definitely possible. But I feel like Kody has like a high need for just frequency and touch and stimulation from his partner in that way. I think part of it is like, he wants to be showy and show that he's happy with Robyn and whatever, but Robyn's not giving that to him. So I don't know how long this is going to last for them.
I don't know. I think out of spite, money and everything else, she'll stay for a while, but I don't know. I just find their whole dynamic really weird. I don't see the soulmate here. I don't really see it.
Agreed.
It's giving, I joined this family because it was security for me.
Well, duh. That's a given for sure. Security is good for my body.
And my bank account.
And my dolls. Oh my God, they were already trolling her with all the Christmas decorations too. I mean, they were showing, she must have had like 5 or 6 different little setups. I don't think they were nativities. I think they were just little Christmas scenes. But I think she had like 5 or 6 of them already on the damn mantle, and they just moved in. She can't even find the Christmas tree. We hop over to Meri and Jen, and they are wanting to go ice skating in New York City, but it was really rainy and snowy that day, so they did not want to be outside. They ended up finding this bar place that had a bunch of balls, like a little ball pit, so they dance around in the ball pit.
Yep.
They tell this little story about how Jen has been Meri's support system a lot in the last couple of years, but pretty much her only support system through all of this. And Jen tells us about how back when her and Meri were first getting to know each other and Meri was really having a hard time after the catfishing situation, she told her, why don't you just go on a trip and go to Lake Havasu, which is in Southern California, so it wouldn't have been very far away. And she did end up listening to her and going, but she only stayed for one night, and she said it was incredibly uncomfortable. But I think this is why I always say that Jen is a good friend, because sometimes you have to do those kinds of things, even when you're uncomfortable and it's not a great thing. Then you got the first trip out of the way, and now you can go again. And
right. It's not like anyone else is coming over to your house. They didn't even know she was gone. No, Kody will say things like, well, there were times where Meri just wouldn't be around. What do you mean, sir? You weren't even going over there. You haven't been over there in like years.
He'd probably be like, oh yeah, Meri's car's gone today. It could have been gone for 2 weeks, and he would have probably just noticed.
Would have never known. Yeah. Mary's just gone without a trace. Okay, did you call her? Were you like, hey, where are you? Like, concerned husband? No. No, I just saw from Robyn's office that Meri was gone, tons of times, but not telling us. She just ran off. Like, what? She has no children living with her at that point, and you're not coming over. What does it matter what she's doing?
It doesn't.
Why do you care? You don't.
It doesn't.
All you want is your damn quilt back, or cut it off.
I still can't believe he made her do that.
And I bet you he just has the pieces sitting in one of those stupid red totes doing nothing.
Or a black tote. Could be black.
Either way, you won't know where it is. Anyway, so Brody comes over in his cowboy hat, and we get this whole monologue about how him's the cowboy. Him's a real cowboy. I'm sorry. Has he killed anybody in a Western? No?
Is that what a cowboy is?
I think a cowboy is somebody who lives out in the Wild West. Like, you gotta not only do your farming and stuff, but you gotta off somebody and be the sheriff or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
There's more to it, I think, than just wearing a cowboy hat and living on a farm.
I agree. I just didn't know murder was part of it.
It's gotta be. I mean, I would think so.
Okay. I don't know nothing about cowboys.
Technically, a cowboy should just be a male cow. If we're going off namesakes. I understand this whole monologue about him being a cowboy. I mean, okay, sure.
It's because Kody's obsessed with cowboys. That's why. And I think that this is actually a perfect thing. And it's so weird because Kody was just talking about how women are attracted to cowboys just last episode. And here his daughter comes walking in with a cowboy. He must be so damn proud.
Solomon is just always unimpressed. For some reason, I don't know, this is a bad picture of him, but his neck is as big as Kody's.
I know. It's as big as his head. I'm not making fun of a child. I want to be clear. I'm making an observation, though, that this child's neck is as wide as his face.
And Kody has a big neck, so he's just got to grow into it, I guess. But
yeah, I do think he's doing one of these. It probably is a different type of angle, but either way, his shoulders are broad. I mean, he's built right here.
He's Kody right there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's all that phone radiation as well. Who knows?
All that stuff going on with his body.
But he's never impressed with these people. Anytime we ever catch a glimpse of this kid, he's just like,
I think he's quite miserable. I hope he has some good friends or like a nice hobby that he does at school or something, because he never looks happy at home, this poor guy. But I mean, Robyn also is currently freaking out. This is the face of Robyn's panic attack, which I do have to admit I share the same face when I'm having panic. I don't know why she thought this. We saw the box in the living room. It was this big. Why did you think a whole tree was in this box? Do you think it's like a magic box you can pull an entire 8-foot tree out of? Because she's freaking out that the tree is a 4-foot, 3-foot tree instead of a regular size tree. And they have 6-7 people around to decorate this tree with some tinsel and ornaments.
I think it was a weird activity to do. I think it's cute when you're in high school. Okay. I think it's cute when you're a child. But I'm not sure how I feel about this 5-foot Christmas tree and this man towering over it, just ever so lightly draping it.
To be fair, though, I mean, the point was not to decorate a 5-foot Christmas tree. It was to decorate a bigger Christmas tree. And I like to make a thing out of decorating my tree. Me and my husband make drinks and put on music and make a thing out of it. And I would love if when we have adult children that they bring their peoples over and that we all have drinks and decorate, because that would also be fun to me. So
I guess each their own. I just thought this would be more like a dinner or something, but I still feel like the conversation is really weird to have in front of all of her siblings. Robyn and Kody could have just went on a double date with these kids and got the answers that they needed. You got Ariella walking around and they're talking about pretty much chastity.
Yeah. I mean, they don't shy away from that kind of stuff, though. Like, they're going to teach their kids about that from jump.
And I wonder if the young kids, Ariella and Solomon, are going to get the same purity speech from Robyn that she gave everyone else. So.
Oh, they better. They better.
If not, they better put on an episode. So she did it.
Yeah. So this is where we get the grossest moment of the episode. Kody is usually the provider of these, and this episode is no different. He tells us exactly how he feels about Aurora specifically, but my guess is most of the women in his life, whether they're married to him or daughters of his, that he believes that they are of belonging to men. And only to men, that they do not belong to themselves. They cannot make their own dating decisions. They cannot decide to kiss somebody because they're taking that away from a man who is unknown.
The unknown man. I wonder if he feels that way now that Christine's married to David, like he was kissing another man's wife the entire time and he didn't protect her or do anything good with her. I don't understand his little fetish with, it's not even his kids, it's Robyn's kids. And this topic is just so weird and off to me. It's not like he gave a damn about his other kids.
I mean, he even says as much. He calls it discerning or discriminating or whatever. But I think discerning would be a better word. But I think he does call it discriminating. But I get what he's trying to say either way. But he's just like, I did not pay as much attention and ask as many questions. I didn't have as many red flags or boundaries as I do now. I'm still not hearing what those boundaries are. I mean, he's just sitting here talking about chastity in such a non-direct way that this man is not even picking it up. And so are you actually talking to this man about chastity? Because according to him, if he went into confessional and they said, what do you think? What?
Her hair morphed into Robyn's. I didn't look at her during this part of the episode. I was listening.
Oh, so. Yeah. It's way different from in the scene. Yeah.
Oh,
I know. She even looks a little fuller faced. Must have been a while after.
I am shocked. She's wearing her mom's clothes. I'm just what? What is this? Somebody adopt this child. Somebody take her somewhere. Mary, teach her to travel. Jen, get a hold of her. I don't know.
Jen should take her under her wing, honestly. That is a show I would pay to effing watch. Is Jen and Aurora take New York or Lake Havasu or wherever.
I'm shocked. And I get that she's a mini Sabin, but now she's literally physically morphing into her mother.
I know.
How terrifying for the world and for doll creators and journals alike. I'm not okay. I'm sorry. I get looking like your mom, but that's just terrifying. I mean, you don't have to dress like her too. Sorry. Just at least these girls dress a little bit different. I swear they all share the same wardrobe. They must.
You just had a malfunction over there.
I can't deal with it. This is why Kody's obsessed with her purity. I mean, shoot, it's like getting a do-over with Robyn. Wow. Okay. Everyone needs to go to therapy here. All right. Where's that Jan lady, who whatever her name was? We need to bring her back.
Her name was Nancy.
Someone needs a therapist living in the home.
living in the home.
Oh my God. For all of them. I mean, shoot, this is insane. Say right.
Do you feel better now?
I can't look at her anymore. I can't.
I kind of agree with you. I wish that they would have just went to dinner with these two so that Kody could at least be more direct in his goals because, yeah, I mean, he was talking about this knife and protecting herself from yourself and what does that mean to you? And this guy was just like, yeah, she was scared, so I gave her a knife. And he just cannot get beyond that.
So instead of teaching your kid to just set clear boundaries, you want to teach her to stab people if they cross those boundaries?
I mean, he didn't give her the knife. Her boyfriend did, but
he was excited by it.
Yes, he was.
And then this kid says, I have a knife too. Like, what are you going to knife fight? What is pocket knife fight? I couldn't anymore with this scene at all. I was like, okay, well, this poor kid, I don't know if he's ever even watched an episode of this, but he needs to sit down and watch some Sister Wives before he decides to be giving them knives and things like that. I don't know. I feel like that was a silly decision.
I can't say that I like any of the people in this scene, but I was entertained just because these people are so damn weird.
Cody's around men. It's just like he took an Adderall or something. Like the man is all over the walls. He's trying to copy his flirt style. Nothing I've been doing is working on my wife. What's this young boy doing?
So we get another bonus scene while we're decorating this tree. Most of it is a
bonus of this. We needed more.
No, well, most of it's a confessional from Robyn. And the reason that I thought it was good is because she actually gives us a little bit of an insight into some of their shared interest in art and museums and that kind of stuff. But when they left the scene and they had this hat right here, I thought that the boyfriend put his hat on the tree and was like, but apparently Robyn bought this damn hat to put on top of this tree as a tree topper. And she explains to us that her and Kody love to go to art galleries, that they love going to check out museums, and that every time that they would go to these places, Kody would always be drawn to all of the cowboy and old Western stuff. And he likes to listen to country music and he's always watching Westerns on TVs. And so that gave her this information that he was into cowboys. So she says, okay, cool. I'm going to make this man an entire cowboy themed room in our home. And so she's all proud of herself that she did this. This was in their last home that they just sold. So it was already done. Kody sees it and he doesn't even understand why it's there. And he says, oh, you did this as a nod to my dad, to honor my dad. And Robyn is like, no, you idiot. I did this because you like cowboy stuff. And then Kody comes in and he goes, so Robyn thinks that I'm a cowboy. I'm anything but a cowboy. I'm just nostalgic for cowboys. That's the scene.
Honestly, Robyn, I think it was just subliminal that you need to be doing more cowgirl things, if you know what I mean.
Honestly.
Positions and things. But okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, girl. Just sounds like another reason for you to be wasting money and pouring it into something that y'all don't need. You want to make a museum in your house of dolls and cowboy things and whatever, and blame his watching a Western every now and then on a whole room. I'm sorry, my dad watches Westerns and old movies all the time. I don't think anyone would make him a cowboy room.
I think it just speaks to Robyn's mindset has always been, he's my best customer, blah, 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 blah. Not a single soul, including Kody, because he was confused by this, asked for an entire Western themed room. You decided because you have a shopping addiction that you were going to go buy all this stuff and expect for your husband to be excited about it. And he was not.
Robyn's love language is not affection or physical intimacy. It is material things. Okay. And that's all we learned since we met her.
So the final scene, we have a little bit of Christmas caroling. It takes quite a bit of corralling on Christine's part to get the whole thing together. Literally just to sing one verse of "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
Yep. All of the Browns only know one song.
So
they hopped around everybody and they all sang that song.
I did like that they had them all sing the same song, put them all on the screen together. Mm-hmm. This show is not covering a full family, right? I mean, everybody is broken up. So I think, any moment that they can have to have them all sing the same song and make the show cohesive for just a second, I'm down to look at it for a minute. But it was giving me a little bit of flashbacks to COVID time when there was an entire season of split screens watching them all interact with each other that way. So I didn't love it, but Janelle made me laugh because we know she probably refused to sing over and over. And the producers were probably like, just do it. It'll be fun. And everyone else is doing it and they won't hear you. And she's like, no, you guys can write me the words out and I don't even think Janelle wrote those.
She should have pulled a me, which is to lip sing. When I was serving, I would lip sing the happy birthday song. All servers, no one ever wants to go do the birthday song. One server will be like, do I go sing happy birthday? You. And if you can't get out of it, which whatever, I would just volunteer after a certain point because they all knew I was going out there and lipping the words. Like,
yeah. I would clap. I would be excited. I am here for you, but I am not talking.
Yep. And then people started catching on to that.
So yeah, they finish their little Christmas carol. They decide that they're going to go and have their dinner together. And we end the episode on Christine reflecting and wishing that things were different, at least with Kody. It doesn't seem like she has any desire, obviously, to hang out with Robyn or Kody or have the whole family involved. But it would be nice if Kody would involve himself with their kids in some capacity.
Yeah, and care about who they date.
Yeah, like maybe in his big, ugly house in the toxic Rock area, he could probably host one of these kinds of parties. And I bet maybe even if a quarter of the adult kids show up the first year, I bet the second year, half of them will show up. And over time, it'll be something that they all make time for and come.
Yeah, you got to reach out.
Yeah, you have to start it. And you can't be mad the first 2-3 years when only half your kids show up because you haven't showed up for them for the last 10. So they'll come eventually.
That was the whole point of getting the house, was to invite these kids. And then here come the holidays and no kids, no invitations. I get that they just moved into this house and it's going to take them probably 5 years to unpack. I mean, shoot, the house is huge. And the way that they go about things at a snail's pace, I would not be surprised if they weren't even done unpacking by the time they moved again. Regardless, I think that they need to put out the invitations there eventually here for something. Let's do a reunion. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like anything. It doesn't even have to be holidays. I just can't help but wonder how big these houses are because a full production crew is also in these houses with these people filming this. Isn't it crowded in there?
When we used to watch Teen Mom before they were all rich, I think, what was it, when Brianna lived in that apartment with her mom and her sister and her 2 kids, and it was like a 2-bedroom apartment. I was always thinking about how do they fit production in there? But looking back, you can see Brianna'd be squished into the couch and someone would be over like on the table. I'm sure there was probably so many limited places where people could actually sit and film so that they didn't have production people in the shot.
I swear sometimes they were filming people through the windows.
They lived in some small places. I bet you production gets so happy when these people get rich and upgrade their houses. For next time, we are officially going to close in on Coyote Pass. I don't think they're going to sell it yet in the next episode, but they're starting to make some changes about the property. And Cody's going to have a meeting online with some of the women, and he's going to be absolutely shocked to find that nobody is excited to talk to him. And I am going to really enjoy watching that. Really looking forward to that. Christine and David are going to be at dinner. It sounds like they're talking about Kody. I don't know if Kody is starting his apology tour and maybe starting to ask people to reach out and hang out because they're talking about possibly hanging out with Kody. And Christine reassures him that this does not mean that they would be brother husbands. And I don't know if they're trying to make it look like that upset David or if it actually upset David. But Christine gives quite the nervous giggle for like 5 minutes after she says that. So I'm curious to see how David actually responds to that because he seems real chill and not easily offended. And we're going to see the email from the other woman, which I would be much more excited to see if Kody wasn't so adamant in all kinds of interviews about special forces that him and Robyn are not going to be adding another wife, that they're going to be monogamous together. Maybe there's more to the scene here than we've seen. I hope that there is. I think Kody would like to have another jump off point.
I think it's right and just for Robyn that he gets another one. Right and just.
According to what Robyn says all the time, that's their culture.
Yeah.
It's the only way they're going to get to the celestial kingdom.
'Tis right and just. Now they can continue Sister Wives if they do it that way. Then there can be a season 21.
All is fair in love and plural marriage.
All right. Yes. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another spectacular Sister Wives episode. We will catch you next week. And remember to like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye. And stay the hell out of Flagstaff, that's for sure.